So my name is Alex Niyonsaba. I'm the founder and creative director of Baho Fashion House Limited.
Hey, it's Kellen, and today on Diversified Game, I have Alex Niyonsaba of Baho Fashion in Rwanda. You guys might have seen his interview where I saw it on the African Investment Guide by Ty Nichols, and we appreciate our brother Ty and business partner. And he showed this man's beautiful shop, beautiful art. When you guys think about African art in the States, you always think about kente cloth, and all you know sometimes is dashikis. His art is something you could put in a museum to be sold for millions of dollars. It's coming, folks. It's coming. Just watch. But Alex, welcome to the show. How are you doing, brother?
I'm doing good, brother. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for coming on. And I think the first question that I just want to get out is, are you more of an artist? Are you more of a businessman who, says, I like art, but I like to put business together?
That question is very tough for me because I'm an artist and I'm also a businessman. But by combining all those, I can say I have a huge talent or passion. That's why when I go in details by explaining the meaning of Baho, you see Baho has a lot of things. So let me start by the name of Baho. Baho means live. So you can ask yourself, why this guy choose that name? So I wanted to provide comfort to the broken people through fashion and tourism, because I have Baho Tours and Safari and Baho Fashion. Thank you.
Okay. And so art, what is art to you? Because, as an artist, as a true artist, the expression is it's important. But when did this love of the art start, and what is art to you?
So the art started, I felt something similar to hospitality when I finished high school in 2012. The first job I got was working in a hotel called Mille Collines Hotel, which subjected Hotel Rwanda in a genocide movie against Tutsi. That time I was working there, I was trying to see some art on the wall and see how people came to know it. By the way, that time I was working there, I was a bellboy. I was in charge of welcoming guests and try to guide them to the front desk, and then help them to go to the room, give them a clear picture of the country, and give them also a comfort while staying with us in a hotel. So that time I started feeling something really different as a way of working for myself or coming up with something which can give back to the community, especially trying to empower youth. Because when you come to Africa, you see a lot of people who are not into job market are the youth. So that's when I came to think of, hey, I think art is very big, right? And when you focus on art, you can feel something different. Like when you are mad or angry, when you see some painting or when you see some design or whatever surrounding you, you can see something different. And then you come into your present rather than going in the past or in the future. Because I feel like you're gonna suffer more when you leave your past or when you leave your future, because the future never exists. So what brings you is, it's terrible mind, right? So you gotta focus on your future. So how can you gotta focus on your present? So that time, the way you can focus on your present is to focus on surrounding objects. That object can be the vehicle, can be someone who's passing in front of you wearing nice suits, nice dress, in a creative way. You can see some painting, you can see different objects, right? So that's when I started feeling like, hey, art is something big, and art can touch to different domains of life, daily life. So that's when, like, before I had this kind of, I was having a lot of minds and idea of naming the company, but I was like, oh, I need to name it in a way it touches to everyone who listening to it and shows or explain everyone life. So that's when I started, choosing the name, and then I decided to come with that real name and with different and very smart logo.
What took you from, I know before you were a bellboy, you were a waiter and bartender. What took you from being a bellboy to then, your logistics job and then entrepreneurship? Because many people, I've had all type of jobs, and I keep all the jobs that I have on my LinkedIn because people say, no, you won't look as powerful. Take those other jobs you had when you were young off and just make it seem like you grew up to be this big, entrepreneur. And I said, but that's not how I am. I'm always working. I'm always grinding. I'm just doing the work, right? So, but when you're in those jobs that don't pay a lot of money and people treat you bad, and we've all been there, at least, well, you and I have been there at least, right? But many people have. You never know if you'll get to your dreams. So what took you from saying, you know what, I'm going from a bellboy to entrepreneur or a logistics manager? Was it education? Was it meeting the right person? Because somebody right now needs that hope to say, what can I do to get me out of this position?
Thank you so much. So, in life, it's up to you, right? You got to choose what you want in life. So the time I was working there, I was having a lot of, vision, because I grown up in a hardship life. So this struggle made me whom I am, yeah, made me whom I am today, right? And whom I'm focusing to. So the time I was working, after high school, I started looking after my young siblings at our age. And the money I was earning at Mikorin wasn't fair, right? But I cannot say, didn't help me, right? It helped me to meet my dream and save real money, right? While thinking how I can own my business, right? And the time I was working there, I was seeing how people were treating no good, like how, these CEO or bosses treat low income earners. I was like, no, this is not good. I think we are equal in this world. Though the world is not equal, but people are equal. We have same blood. How can you treat somebody this low? At least try to show respect. Try to show him or her that you are like each other. So that's why, like, okay, I need to start something very big and somehow inspiring people, right? Giving hope. Therefore, you can think in a different way. You cannot work for somebody 20 years old, right? 20 years. You got to think outside that way. You have to own something. I know you can. And then I was like, maybe I have something very big in my heart, which needs somebody whom I can collaborate with by mentoring, by different things. I think helping people, it's not only giving money. You can even give me some guidance, which will help me to take that money or to have that money, which I'm focusing to. But that time I was really focused on something which can give people hope first, and then also give them money to sustain their family.
And how did you get to find that mentor, or was it a mentor that you found, or did they find you? How did that all come together where you were able to then become, go to the next level? Because capital, people think stops a lot of things, but sometimes it's us, it's in us to just pushing. Sometimes it's talking to the right mentor. Sometimes it's just being in the right place, right time, answered prayer. But can you name one thing that just took you from that job to the next so you could be in this position now?
So that time I was very lucky to see how the world were changing up to now, right? So back there, I was seeing how the world is very fast in changing in different aspects. And I found myself in tourism. I first decided to go into driving school, where just not to get driving license, because I was seeing as an opportunity to start with zero money, right? From zero scratch. Because that time I was able to get zero money, right? From tips, from my monthly salary. And then I went from there, right? The first time I got a driving license, and then I started renting vehicle. And then I started, helping tourists to have like a city tour. So like helping people to have like a city tour exposure, it's around 100 and then 150 full day package, right? Then you take him or her around the city. And then later on, he pays you or she pays you $150 or $100. So that $100, you can save it to rent another car when you have another deal, right? So that type of business doesn't cost you a lot of money. It's only saving a lot of money, right? And then you have an idea of what you can do. So from there, I started seeing how people or how tourists are being able to like my service, and how I recommend them to go for handmade craft. And then I was like, okay, maybe there's something good into this area, into this sector. And I see that there is some struggle while dealing with tourists. Some of them, they don't even know how to welcome clients, to give them a fair amount of product, right? Because we need to step into someone's shoes to feel him or her while spending some money on certain product. I was like, okay, maybe I need to start something which can serve tourists in all corners. For example, if I have some people who wants to come to Rwanda, I know these guys who need to go into hotel, they need souvenirs, they will need tour packaging, like traveling around the country. That's when I started thinking that way, but the foundation or the idea came from hospitality. The time I was working in a hotel industry. But remember, someone can be hospitable by nature, which is very crucial than going into school, learning that kind of tourism stuff. So being hospitable by nature is one thing, which is very important. The second thing is go into education stuff. You go on Google, you try to document yourself into tourism or hospitality industry in general. But the idea was naturally, right? That's what I can say. Because that time I was hospitable by nature. And then from there I started, because in high school I didn't do tourism. I did economics and entrepreneurship.
So let me make something clear for the audience that may not be able to, they don't know much or anything about Rwanda. You working at a bellboy, for us, you were probably making what, between 150 or 450 Rwandan francs, which could be, is that true?
No, it's not true.
No, per hour.
No, for last year, you find you're earning 150 per month.
Not US dollars, not Rwandan francs?
100 francs, 150 per
150.
month.
And so that's not a lot of money. And so you more than like tripled your money. You more than 10 times your money doing, travel, because folks, 150 Rwandan francs right now in US dollars is about, I don't even want to say what that is. It's not enough money. It's not enough money.
It's around $160.
Yeah. And so you were doing that daily. So it's almost like, if to a young person, you're like, hey, I'm rich. I can do this daily what I was making in a month. And you started to learn and educate yourself. And that's the key. And I love to hear that. And then you have the entrepreneurship. In entrepreneurship, how does it make you feel to say, okay, I have a business, I have team members. I don't like to call people employees. I like them to be part of the team. How does that feel? Like, what was that feeling like, especially when you first got it? And, just express your joy to us.
First of all, people start a business without having without having entrepreneurship skills, right?
Mm-hmm.
Most of people here in Africa start a business without having those skills. Because by having those skills, that's when you know how to treat your team or your employee, right? So by having those skills, it helps me give back the respect to my staff or my team. Let me call because I call my colleagues, right? Or brothers and sisters, right? So it's very kind calling someone his or her name, or call him or her brother and sister, right? Because it helps him feel the business, right? So it's very good, or I was lucky to have those skills when I was in high school. Good for some people. I remember when I was working in a restaurant, we had some issue with the boss. He didn't get money as he expected, right? And then the blame was to put on us. He didn't want to pay us that time. And I was like, no, if the business fails, that means the employee they're not going to pay the employee. You have to pay the employee, then you bear the risk because you are the owner of the business. The employees doesn't bear the roles of the business. So having entrepreneurship skills helped me know that I can start from zero scratch by having a clear business idea, and then see way forward how I can meet my dream or how I can implement my business idea.
And how many employees do you have now? Or how many team members do you have now and brothers?
So far I have 2, because I don't have a lot of people who are like, the situation worldwide. We are now suffering from this pandemic. We don't have more tourists. We don't have more people who are having money. They are not willing to spend a lot of money because they don't know what tomorrow holds. So they reserve themselves. They don't go shopping a lot of product. So now I have two young girls, because my business is focusing on the youth, because I'm trying to empower youth so that they can even think they can do something, right? Because I want them to also think like me. I don't want to have them for the rest of their age, so they can work with me for a couple of years, and then later on go out to start his or her own business, and then another young generation comes in to fulfill the gap, right? So far I have 2, but I'm willing to have more in the future, because I know how the world is changing. People are starting to think they can spend money on the product or service they feel like they want to go, right? People are traveling the world. People are trying to look nice, dressing in a fancy clothes. They want to fill their wardrobe by buying new clothes, new African print,
Okay. And you have a beautiful website, and can you ship worldwide, especially to the West, on your website, and is shipping included in the price, or is that additional?
To be honest, at the moment, I cannot ship worldwide, right? You can't shop online, right? Instead, you can give me order, right? And then I work on it, and then I ship to your place.
Okay. So we may have to come to Rwanda, and everyone, if you don't know, Rwanda is just beautiful. I mean, we have our partners there, a couple partners there, and it's just beautiful. Everything we see, probably, if not one of the cleanest places and well organized. Are you old enough to have seen the shift? Because I've gone to 4 or 5 different African countries, and organization, it always seems the closer you get to the president's house, the more organized things are, the more clean things are. Rwanda, we know you guys have days where everybody cleans and people stop driving, which is something we could only wish for in America because we're not united like that. But were you old enough to see the shift, and how quick, if you were, or did it take for people to say, you know what, we're going to come together to make Rwanda beautiful?
Big pardon, come again?
What I'm trying to see is like the shift of when Rwanda, from the cleaning of the street to just how everything is organized. Have you seen the changes in the past 10, 15 years? Are you old enough to remember and say, this is that new Rwanda? Like Botswana had the same type of, Botswana is beautiful and people know, okay, Botswana is leading in this. But was Rwanda always like it is for you in your eyes, just organized and, just like it is, where people are working together?
Yeah, I think so. We have that kind of service which gives us a love, right? Mm-hmm. Or it gives us collaboration, if I can say that, right? So for us, we call it a community service day, or we call it Umuganda in our mother tongue, whereby every last Saturday of the month, we have to clean. He or she has to clean where they live, right? We call it a community service day. So this service or this policy, it gives us a love, right? You feel each other, you work together while cleaning or planting trees where you live. So, and it has made a lot of change. When you look 10 years or 20 years, it's pretty interesting, and you'll be amazed when you come to Rwanda. You see the Kigali is beautiful, clean, but you'll be surprised when you go outside Kigali, like up countries. It will be the same, no change, right? So I think everyone is his or her task to clean where he is. Why can you clean yourself when you are walking in a dirty place? It doesn't make sense, right? So if you know you're gonna dress well, you have also to know it's your responsibility or to work in a good environment. So for us, it's a very good idea for which we really feel appreciate and feel thankful for our president. He's our role model.
Well, the president definitely, is the lead of getting the people right. And I think that's the big difference in seeing some of the countries that, people are throwing trash right where they work, even in front of restaurants, and it doesn't make sense. But it's because the president may not even be in the country. He may be hiding in his, his apartment in Switzerland or Sweden. And, him and his family live great around the world, and he's been in office for 35 years. And I don't mean to cut words. I am talking about Paul Biya. in Cameroon. That's who I'm talking about, because that personally impacts me. And so I'm saying it, that Rwanda and places like Angola are great places that we can learn from. Now, with all the success that you have had, and the best is yet to come, because you're still a young man. And congratulations again. I'm going to say it on air to he's getting married, folks. When you go to his Instagram, you'll be seeing, a big wedding soon. But what is a community give back that you are doing or that you want to do in the future while you have this success? What do you want to give back to the people?
The way I want to give back to the people, I'll be giving back to the people through my company or my brand, which is Baho Foundation, which will be changing my community through fashion, through education. First of all, I really think it's better to empower young people. So through the success of my company, I would like to reach out to less vulnerable people in the village, whereby the family cannot afford to buy school uniform. Since I'll be having this fashion brand, I'll be able to make out of school uniform and then give to people who doesn't have that capacity to buy school uniform and the books. Another thing is to talk to the parents or the family members in the community to empower, to utilize education rather than taking their kids into farming stuff while they are young. First of all, they have to give them or showing them the importance of going into school. So for me, I'll be trying to give them the right direction. Like I'll be trying to talk to the kids, trying to see or listen to their vision, dream, and then from there I can talk to. I'll try to set some people can be in touch with the teachers so that the kids can reach or can meet their dream. If somebody likes fashion while she's in primary school, there's no way of helping her to be into fashion, right? He or she will first finish primary school and then go to secondary school. And then from there, he or she can decide, or you can try to help him or her go into the guidance. He or she can take a guidance from you while she's mature or immature. But first of all, he or she has to know education is the weapon to change the world in one way or the other way. So for the parents, I'll try to give them the key to life. Like if the parent is aware of, or let's say the women in the village, there's a way I'm trying to reach to them, give them the sewing machine, and then I teach them, or I give them somebody who can teach them how to do sewing, and then they can do it from the village while making some design, some clothes, and then they can dress their husband, their children. They can make even school uniform for their kids without even spending a lot of money buying them from the school, right? But the idea is to try to give them the idea of making money rather than thinking the government is going to give money or doing something for them, because the richness or the money they are looking for or they are seeking for, they are within their hands.
Never no government is just into giving money. Even here on this side, when now the government is giving money, it's really, taking that same money back in high taxes. And, so people don't get excited on this side in America, or if you're in Canada or the UK, when they're giving you these stimulus checks, because I'll say for America, they're taking their money right back in tax. Well, Alex, I thank you for coming on. We're going to take the conversation offline because I want people to go check out not just your website, but also your YouTube and Instagram. Make sure you guys follow it, and you will see more from Alex, and let him know that you have seen him and seen his interviews and what you want to see from him, what you want to learn from him that you cannot get in a book. You know, you have to get it directly for him. So it'll put more pressure for him to make even more content on YouTube to help us all build this bridge. Thank you, Alex, for coming on.
Thank you so much.